Hello and welcome to Gimpy Bytes, the place where you don't see all the messed up lighting setups we try before we begin recording because this is the internet. I am Captain Gimpy, and this is
the Zenist of Boros.
He just randomly came in my house and started trying to talk to me, so I had to let him stay.
I was trying to steal shit, but I failed at that because he's just an interesting guy.
He's lying. So today you have a topic for us.
Yes, I do. In our last video, we talked about an article that Ian Hamilton had written, and he gave a ton of links with a lot of information, and
he actually tweeted at me, which I greatly appreciate. That was awesome. Thank you, Ian Hamilton. You're cool, and I hope to meet you in February.
Me too.
At the Game Accessibility Design Conference, so that should be fun.
Yeah, so these next few videos are just going to be focused on topics in that article. So,
the article overall is about VR and accessibility with regards to various kinds of impediments that one would typically consider an impediment to playing a VR game, like motor difficulties, hearing difficulties,
vision,
motion sickness, and seizure disorders.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about some things that's, the smarter than me developer people think might be a good idea when it comes to VR game design considerations.
Right. And the topic that we're going to be talking about today is
the motor
impairment.
Like this one.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of people. My hands do this when I'm not paying attention to things.
When I started doing research through the links that I clicked in that article, I was really fascinated with what they're doing with VR and motor impairment, because an interesting point brought up in one of the articles, this one written by Adrian Hunter, she wrote that VR is in a stage where the field is rich for pioneering new stuff.
Yeah. So basically, when he tried to explain this to me before, what he meant, I didn't get it because he used the incorrect words to explain the things. So yeah. I'm going to try to give you a version of the correct words to explain the things that he actually meant. So basically what she thinks is, and I agree, by the way, I don't know if people know this, but I used to do game designy things, and I don't now. But what she says is that VR is new. There are no set standards for control mechanisms and things like that. So things haven't congealed the way that they did with traditional consoles. And I'm staring at a YouTube alert on my phone, and it's very distracting. Thank you, I have ADD. Mm-hmm. So her point is that VR is really new, and we're not locked into any control schemes or even methods of user interface at this point in the game. It's really, really new. The Vive is very different from the Oculus Rift in terms of how it controls. And they're two very different machines aimed at two very different kinds of experiences in terms of how the user will experience the peripherals and their interactions. So what she's saying is that's a good thing, because we now have an opportunity in game design to come up with new ways to create games from the ground up that are inclusive to people with motor impairments, in this case, like me, for example. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you see this handle thingy?
Let me move out of the way.
You see the handle thingy?
See this guy?
See? It's a wheelchair, and I just broke the rules of like framing a shot so I could show you not a whole wheelchair. But that's my point. Like, I'm in a wheelchair, so this is personally important to me because it'd be cool to play some VR stuff. So one of the key things that she and a lot of other people bring up is the idea of adjustable head height. What does that mean? I don't know. Actually, I do.
Well, adjustable head height is it's that. Okay, here's the best way. I do best with examples.
See,
Let's say there's a drawer, right? And this is taken from my notes. There's a drawer with stuff in it, and let's say I'm like 5'7". Let's say it's me. I can open the drawer and take these items out, and I can use it to knock stuff down. Yeah, that are close to me. However, let's say I'm in a wheelchair, like a sitting position.
Okay, so let's say I play the game.
Yeah.
Right? And we're in the same room.
Yep.
And like you're like, oh dude, you're telling me, oh, you have to open the drawer and there's gonna be like these 3 items and then you have to take them out. The problem is if you don't include adjustable head height, right? The drawer that I'm supposed to open is at the exact same height it was for him, meaning that even if I can open the drawer, I can't see into the drawer to grab the items and use them.
Right.
So adjustable head height basically scales the perspective of the game so that even if you're sitting, the game will treat you like you're standing on 2 legs. And that's a very good idea. And it's a very simple thing to implement.
Yeah, and also, not only that, but like make the drawer at your height.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It'll basically scale the game's perspective as if you were standing up, even if you're sitting down.
Yeah. Another thing with the head height. This was brought up in another article by a developer who is in a wheelchair. His name's Brian Von Buren.
Yeah.
Yes. He brought up an interesting thing. It's called universal design, and it's I guess you could call it a design philosophy. It's where you consider different parts of your audience. And a great example he gave was a pinball dispenser. It's set at a certain height where an able-bodied person can pick it up with his hands like this, and another person like my friend here can just roll over there and then and just simply grab it because it'll be at his height, but it's not so low where I have to like crowd. Yeah,
do the same thing.
So that's what he means by like an example of universal design. It's an inclusive design philosophy. Yeah.
So basically, like in my head, this is analogous to the following idea. Okay, let's say you rent an apartment with lowered cabinetry and that sort of thing that is meant for the use to. It's meant to be used by someone with a physical disability using a wheelchair, right?
Right.
So the counters are lowered 6 inches all around. The lower cabinets are cut so that the wheelchair can fit underneath the sink and all that sort of thing. So people who walk can readily use these things, okay?
Yeah.
But they make up a very small minority of actual available apartments. But there's no problem for somebody like this. Well, maybe him. I don't know. He's special, but he's masquerading as normal right now. No, but there's no problem for somebody who is able-bodied to use the apartment like any other apartment. It just looks different.
Yeah.
But it's a whole nother story for someone like me to walk into a standard apartment and try to do everything I need to do the way that I need to do it. not impossible, but it's considerably more difficult. Take that over to game design, and you have the same basic principle at play. You're designing the game from the ground up to be adjustable and accessible to various types of body configuration, shall we say.
Right.
So, adjusting it to the best median space configuration so as to be usable by someone in a wheelchair or someone who might be super short, and also usable by someone who is really average or super tall.
Yeah. And another thing, children also.
Well, they're short.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they become tall.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think that's how the growing thing works.
Well, I just wanted to clarify that.
No, dude, it was just funny.
But yeah, that was pretty interesting. Another thing, we're kind of all over the place, but
you're all over the place.
But
It's your fault.
going back to the thing that VR is a rich field for game accessibility. You already have sitting VR experiences like being in a cockpit of a fighter jet.
That Eve branded space flight sim with combats is amazing looking.
Yeah, like you just have to. One of my friends, he actually owns the PlayStation VR. It's pretty simple. You just, handle it the way you would handle a real
So you
fighter jet.
You do this.
Yeah, like.
Is this how you handle a fighter jet?
Yeah, and you look around and it's
I was under the assumption that there was like a flight stick. But I'm just.
Yeah, but
But
yeah. So games like that are a pretty good step forward. The standing only VR games, which require kneeling, crouching, even crawling, those ones, even for able-bodied gamers, I read that
I got you.
after like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
they kind of stopped playing because.
So what they found is that even with fit people, non-hunter-gatherers, right, contemporary human beings, but people who are reasonably healthy and go to the gym and do that sorts of things, even for those people, 2 hours was basically the max that they could have a fully physical engagement with a VR game where you had to stand up, jump, like bend down and do all sorts of that stuff we kind of do every day, but not really.
Yeah.
And after that, they just got super tired and didn't want to play anymore.
Right.
So what the industry, I guess, is gathering from this, you can put it that way, is that maybe we shouldn't focus so much on like the whole like full body experience and focus on making a tight experience that immerses you in one aspect or another, instead of just trying to throw the like full spectrum virtual reality at you.
Yeah.
Like, straight away.
Yep.
Because, okay, this still stands. If anyone wants to let me come to their house and play with their expensive VR equipment, I promise I won't break it. I really want to try this stuff, and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
But the people I know that do have it, they've informed me that most experiences compared to what we consider full retail games right now in the VR market are still very much demo-y. They're not complete games as we've come to know and love them in other segments of the market. And that's okay, because this is still an emergent technology that's very much finding its feet. At least it's finally materialized in a retail form. It's really here, which means we have to learn how to deal with it. And that's what we wanted to talk about. And by the way, in case you're wondering why I've kind of quit editing these lately, it's because I've discovered that I'm way too type A for my own good when it comes to this sort of thing. And so I kind of like just talking to the people who watch our videos, and hopefully this stuff is entertaining and at least somewhat perspectively educational.
Yeah.
You know,
that's our goal.
Yeah, it's not to be like super polished looking. I'm a dude with an iPhone in a bedroom, man. Come on, like.
Yeah, I'm just a hobo that happened to walk into his house.
Yeah, and then he tried to jack my phone, and I was like, "You want to shoot a video?" Like,
yeah.
He's like, "What do you mean shoot a video?"
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's why. It's not that I don't care about the show. It's not that I'm lazy. It's that I become too involved and I get upset at things I really shouldn't get upset over. So for now, we're just gonna have a conversation, and that's gonna be the show until figure out a better way to do the things.
Before we close out, I mean,
that's what you said.
Yeah. Sorry, but alternative user interface options. The most interesting one. It's called Gaze, and it's where in the article it said Gaze,
as in Gaze.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have to look it up later. But it's where you nod as a game input, and I was just about to mention the video game.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
So there's a game.
Yeah.
It's a magic carpet ride, literally. It's called Bizarre. Not like bizarre as in a bizarre happening, but rather a bizarre as in a bizarre terminal in Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah.
It's the place where you buy the things.
Yep.
So you're basically riding on a magic carpet, presumably on rails. From what I've seen, it looks like the carpet itself is on rails, but you don't need a control because you interact with the elements in the environment by nodding at them.
Yeah.
Which means even if you have extremely limited mobility, you can still play this game, which is a good thing.
And you can look up, there's constellations in the sky, and you're just like...
Think like I Dream of Genie for all you old people. Think... Right, so it's like that.
Yeah, I just thought of being Aladdin when I watched the demo for that.
By the way, there's another game called Gallery?
The Gallery, yes.
Yeah.
It's being developed for the HTC Vive.
The most expensive piece of VR equipment on the market. Give me one free.
It looks pretty cool.
I love you, Valve. Give me one free.
The article was a little vague about what they meant in terms of a game that where you're on a platform that moves vertically and horizontally, and
while still allowing you to keep interactive controls close by. We still don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And as soon as we figure it out, we're gonna tell you. But we don't know because neither of us could find any information on what that means. But when we do, we'll tell you. Also, there will be, I don't know, temporally challenged I am right now. There will be links in the description to the trailers for these two games, so you can see what the heck we're talking about. And until next time, I have been Uncle Fester.
And I have been Zenboro.
No, he has been Gomez.
Okay.
See you guys next time.